What is a leader on a mission? A leader on a mission is someone who is empowering African talent for the global stage. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Meaningful Work, Meaningful Life podcast, the show that empowers you to redefine the life you want and live your best life now. I am your host, Francine Beleyi, and in the season 10, we are delving into the theme of leaders on a mission, where we explore the personal journeys, impactful work of some visionary leaders who are making a difference in the world. So today, I am delighted to talk with Erefa Coker, the founder of IMÓ Interns, a groundbreaking platform that connects businesses worldwide with skilled remote interns from Africa. So Erefa is driven by a deep-seated mission to empower young African talent and provide them with opportunities that can change their life and communities. So through IMÓ Interns, she has built a platform that not only connects businesses with skilled talent, but also address the economic challenges faced by so many in Africa. In our conversation, Erefa dives deep into why she started IMÓ Interns, the challenges she faced, especially building trust with international clients, and how she overcame them. So what also really struck me is how she's using technology to break down barriers and create meaningful opportunities for so many people. So if you are interested in how to create impact through your work, or if you are curious about how to leverage global talent, especially Africans, for your business, you are going to love this episode. So I can't wait for you to hear it. Tune in now. Hi, Erefa. Welcome to Meaningful Work, Meaningful Life podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Erefa, tell me about your background and what did you want to do when you grew up?
Right, interesting, funny. When I was growing up, I had an uncle who was a lawyer, and and because when I was young, people used to say, because I grew up in Nigeria, and when you talk too much, which you talk too much, you should be a lawyer, and I always wanted to be a lawyer, so I thought I was going to be a lawyer, and I love to read because my dad was a journalist, and
Ah, interesting.
he had a huge library, and I could read everything. Obviously, I read everything, some of the things I didn't understand. So as I grew up, I went back to read those sort of books again just to understand, just because I just love. I remember my classmate never used to like to borrow me books because when I bring it back, it's dog-eared because I've read it over and over again. I just love to read. So I think that's one of the things that shaped me. I always wanted to be, and obviously I also thought I was going to be a lawyer. Then growing, I eventually studied English language in the university. But the law dreams went down the drain, but I'm happy with what I do now.
That is funny. So you thought that you were going to be a lawyer, but actually what you're doing is not too far as well. You know, you're empowering quite a lot of people with all the work that you're doing. It's very, really quite interesting. So tell me, what is one thing that people don't know about you?
I'll say I'm an introvert, but a lot of people, but because of what I do, and also because I'm kind of out there, um, a lot of people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm really an introvert. The best thing, as I said to you, I grew up reading, so most of the things I like to do is sitting at home just reading. My husband used to, he says as a joke, but I know he means it. He tells the kids that you guys are lucky that you have me because you're stuck in the house all day with your mom. Because I just like to be indoors, read, listen to podcasts now, audiobook,
Mhm.
but when I'm out, you never know because I can network, I can speak to people, maybe it's like I put on an act when I'm out. I can go to party, I'm never afraid to walk up to new people and make friends, but I'm actually an introvert. The best thing,
Mm.
yeah,
Mhm.
read a book, just chill. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really interesting. Thank you for sharing that because I also grew up really loving book and only reading books. I will spend my whole time reading book. However, I think that I'm more extrovert than introvert. I love also staying by myself most of the time, but I act a bit more extrovert than introvert. But I really, really, really love also staying by myself, listening to podcasts. I binge listen to podcasts, obviously, all the time, and still reading. And now with Audible, that is the best thing ever. I, I have like tons of books on my phone, and then as I walk, as I go about, as I'm washing up, as I'm doing anything, I'm keeping listening. That's the best invention, I think. Audible, actually, I love that. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So now tell me, is there anything that people don't know about you? What is one thing that people don't know about you?
Apart from being an introvert,
Yes, yes.
what would I say? Okay, I'm very spiritual. I'm a born again Christian, and I don't think a lot of people, obviously, because I like to dress up. I'm very fashionable, so I'm not your regular Christian, and I don't go about, as they say in Nigeria, kabashing. I don't go like speaking in tongues and everything.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know. Yes, it's not something, and I'm also very careful because I know that people, the first thing they tell you, I'm a born again Christian, and you find out they don't even show any form of Christianity. I like you to get to know me, and then, oh, sometimes people say, oh, what church do you go? And I'm always happy to then tell you when you get to know me, because then you see the Christ in me, which is what
Mm,
I should portray as opposed to
yes,
telling you. So a lot of
yes,
people don't know that spiritual. I'm very spiritual. I can wake up and pray for hours, read my Bible. My kids are tired of me. Like, it's just reading and praying is like my way of life, but it's not something that I go obviously about start writing. I don't write Bible codes. You never see me put. Obviously, you're supposed to win souls for Christ, but it's just maybe because also I'm also because I'm in HR. I'm also very careful not to
Mhm.
my my own beliefs on people.
Yes,
So if
yes,
people are interested and ask me something about myself, but
yeah,
I always tell my clients, people who are atheists, I know that atheists
yeah,
maybe they're struggling. I'll say a word of prayer for you. And they go, oh, that's very thoughtful of you, but I don't believe in God. So I'll still keep you in my prayers. But
yes,
I don't go about like, oh, I'm trying to, yeah,
yeah,
I'll say that's
yeah.
one thing a lot of people don't.
Yeah, yeah. I think that that is really, really important what you say. Of course, you have that faith, and then that is something that is really very important to you, but you don't go about, putting that on people all the time. And exactly like me, I'm kind of, I won't say even that I'm a Christian. I believe I'm a spiritual being. I believe in the teachings that Jesus brought us. I believe in other kind of religion also, and I believe in the good of humanity as well. So this is also something that I don't actually share all the time, but I have this belief that we all go into one source actually, and whatever we can do is again based on our own the fruit that we show rather than tell. Speak is very cheap, but your
So
actions is how you're going to demonstrate to people that you are who you are, right? So I love that as well. So how would you say that your childhood has shaped who you are today and the value that you carry? What would you say are your values, and how your childhood or perhaps life has shaped you to, who you are today?
Okay, so as I said, I grew up in Nigeria, and so you can imagine Africa. But my father was very liberal. He's as I said, was a journalist, so he's open to. We used to have exchange. He would listen to my thoughts. I think that shaped me to being the woman that I am, the confident person that I am, that I'm able to talk to anybody. I can share my thoughts. I can criticize. I can argue with fact, and I know when to back out of an argument because I grew up with somebody who liked to write, argue, and stuff. So this sort of things shaped my life. And one of the things I remember that both my parents and I is also what I also instill in my kids is taking ownership of your actions. So as kids you do something, and my dad would say, "What's the worst thing I'm going to say to you? What is the worst thing? Shout at you, punish you, whatever." Just own it. So, growing up and owning that responsibility. And now as I begin to work for myself, I realized that because it's me, or even if the box stops at my desk, so even if my colleague has done something I'm able to just say to the client, I'm so sorry, we'll take up, just taking that ownership. And I find that it's something that one must learn very quickly, because if you don't learn it at an early age, it'll be something that you're always trying to push,
Yeah.
push
Push
the
the button to other people. This is the person, and then
very
you just take
afraid, but at the
yourself
end of the
out.
day, the client doesn't care whether it's your employees. They've given the company, so somebody has to take those ownership. And I said the same thing. So sometimes as I'm turning to my parents, the same thing they taught me. I'm not saying this to my children as well, that just say I did it, just take ownership, And also, another thing is, you know, as Africans, as back then, obviously, life has changed now. One of the things that my parents will always say is that your integrity speaks for you when you're not in the room. So your yes should be your yes, your no should be your no. I will even joke that they say if you're owing somebody, talk to them, tell them you don't have the money to pay rather than run away from them. You know what I mean? So your integrity, who you are, talks when you leave the room. That's what talks about when you're not there. When three people can say the same thing about you, so I think those sort of things shaped my life. Um, and as I was growing up, I just thought, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
life is completely obviously it's different now. We're millennials, parent giving birth to Gen Z, to Gen Alpha children, but I think those things are still important values that we must pass on to
Yeah.
generation. It's just shaped who we are. It's just and I'll say, as I said, and then when my parents got separated, went with my mom, but I stayed back with then I went back to my dad because I wanted to spend the weekend with him, and I just never left. So I ended up growing up with my dad, and I think it's just listening to him working. He started his life as a crime reporter, became an
Mhm.
editor, and just listened to his stories. And we used to talk. And then he used to write a column, and he used to write about me in his column. And my mom's friend used to say, "Oh, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me that." So I think that's sort of. I never wanted to be a writer or a journalist, but no, I wanted to write a book, not a journalist, because I read, and some authors also shaped the way I saw things, saw life. I'm a big believer in Africa. I'm a big believer in my country. And anyway, we'll get to that in a bit as we carry on talking.
Yeah, no, that's very, very important. Having strong values, and those values that you learn at a very young age. This is what I believe, that when you have very strong value from the young age, this carries you to every time. This is so important, for parents to make sure that the kid at the very beginning have strong value, because when you have those strong values, it's very difficult to veer off them. Of course, it can happen, but it's quite difficult. So you always remember those strong values that you have from the beginning, and then you use them, to make sure that you understand where you're coming from and what is driving you in life. Okay, good. Thanks. That's great. So now let's talk about what you are currently doing. Obviously, you were in HR before, and now you have started this organization or this venture called IMO Intern. Is it how you pronounce that? IMO? Is it IMO, or how do you say?
It's Imo.
IMO.
Imo. Imo. It's a
IMO.
the
Yes.
Yoruba. Yes, Yoruba. Yoruba is a Nigerian language. Imo,
How,
and it
what does it mean?
means knowledge.
Emo.
Knowledge. Imo. Knowledge.
Knowledge. Oh, say that again so that I can listen.
Imo.
Emo.
That's why it's got that accent at the top.
Yeah, emo. Did I pronounce that well?
It's
Emo.
fine. You're saying like a French person, which is fine.
Oh my God, that is going to be very difficult. Yeah, but okay. So tell me what actually inspired you to start IMO Interns, and what specific gap actually in the market you've seen, and then you wanted to address that with this venture.
Great. Thank you for that question. Um, my background is talent acquisition, HR consultancy, helping businesses better find talent, manage their talent, retain their talent, everything centered around if you're at HR, whether you're doing generalist, whether you're doing recruitment or learning, it's all about talent, or it's recruitment is finding the talent, introducing them into the business, and then HR generalist is maintaining, this talent with administrative support. And then you've got the other aspect of learning and support, organizational development, which is strategy for the organization. So everything is all about people. And in from um, my talent acquisition days to then becoming a core HR consultant, offering organizational HR strategy and support to businesses. One of the gaps I've always seen is skill gap, talent acquisition, those things. And then also, as I said, my early years and my first degree was in Nigeria. Is when I started, so I'd come to do a secondary, my postgraduate in the UK. I worked in a recruitment agency, and I just went back to Nigeria and I set up my recruitment agency. And one of the things I quickly saw is, as you know, Nigeria is a developing country, third world country. One of the things I noticed real quick was the university wasn't preparing the young graduates. We're not equipped to face the labor market. When I say face it, are they employed? So they've got their first degree. But some of them they couldn't even go for an interview. So it's not like today where you could do chat GPT or internet, people could Google and stuff. I'm saying this was like 2005, 2006. So I started seeing those gaps. And I'll find out that when we're doing a pre-selection interview, I'm teaching them, oh, don't clap your hands when you don't do this stuff, so that, little things. So that formed so the first thing I did, first venture I did that helped was I started a graduate finishing school in 2017, sorry, 2007 in Nigeria. And it was free. It was just to help graduates equip them for the labor market. So they come and it's like a boot camp, but it was face to face. Obviously, it wasn't remote as we do now. It was it was like a month long where, and then I'll bring different people. So I got people to volunteer to come and speak in those speak in those sessions, and they will come into those sessions and speak to them, talk to them about their own career, early career days, what they did, but they just we teach them different things, give them assignment project, tell them to when you want to get a job, how to even begin to research for a job, how to know, when you're called for an interview, the basic, the basic things that you think that young kids will know. So that carried on and just from my own. So I knew that I had something to do with emerging talents, early career, 0 to 5 year work experience, carried on. And during COVID, then obviously I got married. My other half has always lived in the UK. He was born as most of his life lived in the UK. And story for it took me a while to decide that I was going to come and live in the UK.
Okay. So you were just going back and forth from
The
Nigeria to the UK.
first 5 years of our marriage, again, because my other half was born and he lived here, he didn't have a, because when people say, where's your husband? I'm like, he lives in London. Why are you living in Nigeria? He didn't mind because when he met me, I was already running a business. So as far as was concerned, is she going to just stop her life because she's got married to me? You know?
Uh-huh.
So first 5 years of our marriage, I was shuttling between Nigeria and the UK. When I mean shuttling, I was living in Nigeria. So I used to come, or he would come to 2 weeks holiday and stuff like that. And when I was I think when my daughter was 4 and she was not time she was going to get into reception and I was getting ready to have a second child, he said to me, each time you come, I have to get to know my child again. So he just said it. He didn't say you have to move, or he just expressed. And I thought, okay, it's fair enough. This guy's been, he's been fair. So I then moved to the UK. Again, life has a way of, you know, things that you don't want to do. You find that where maybe that's where you're meant to be all your life anyway. And then moving to the UK, I carried on still, the business in Nigeria is still running. Um, but I'll go to Nigeria every 6 weeks for a week or so, come back. I was also offering HR consultancy to clients here and things like that. And then come COVID, and I begin to I saw an opportunity in the market. So I was thinking about it in terms of because I think we had some tech talent that we're offshoring from Nigeria directly to clients in the US anyway, just a few clients. But I thought about when people think of offshoring talent, maybe a VA, customer service, Africa doesn't come to them.
Yeah, we have all the suspects, the Philippines, the
That's
India, the all
yeah,
these things.
Eastern Europe and things like that.
Yeah.
I thought there is a market. There's a market, and we just thought, and for me, it wasn't. I love technology, and I thought we could use, and I know that technology is an enabler. So how do we marry technology and what I was trying to do. So by 2022, we started to build IMO, and it was, how do we do it? What can we do differently? Is it just, and we call it internship, right? So it's called IMO interns, even though they're university graduates. Some of them have between 1 to 5 year work experience. Some of them, because in Nigeria, it's mandatory when you finish your university degree to go and do 1 year youth service. So that means the government pays you for that 1 year, but you're placed to work either as a teacher or some in the ministry or different things. Or and some of them just go and work in private establishment. So these are not just people who haven't worked, but we thought we need to make sure that the skills are going to be, they have skills that are needed to work remotely for businesses. So we set up a boot camp, and the boot camp is supposed is so before they get into the boot camp, we assess the talent. So they go to an assessment. So they're vetted, assessed, and then go through this boot camp. So we create content to make sure that we upskill them to be able to help whichever businesses that they're going to work for. And also because they're competing with, because before the client comes in the West is going to speak to, probably have spoken to somebody in the Philippines or India. So by the time they're speaking to you in Nigeria, you must be, they will have worked with somebody in the Philippines sometimes in their life. So it has to be a balance of finding that person. And then coming back to that, did I see a gap in the market? Yes, saw the trend of remote work. I saw where the money was going to. I saw the unemployment in Africa. I saw the youth population in Africa, and I thought that and people say Africa is the future because we're going to be, I think, is it another a couple of years we'll overtake India in terms of Nigeria for the term population and things like that, and the whole of Africa as a whole. We're over 1 billion, and statistics says that at least 50% of Africa is a youth. They're under the age of 40, so youthful people. And Africans are resilient. We like education anyway. Every African parent will say, if you're not a doctor, you're a lawyer. It's just these days that they allow you to go and study other things or do music. It was a taboo to say that you wanted to study music. So that gap, that opportunity was there. It's a gap and because people are also they're offshoring, they're outsourcing their services to these countries that I've mentioned. So there is opportunity, and then we have the people, we have we have the skills, we have the time. For the UK, we have the time difference compared to the Philippines or India. If you get
Yeah, true.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're on the same
it's very the same time zone actually.
pretty much the same time zone. English, say, in West Africa, we have English and French speaking. So if I wanted to sell to France, I've got the right talent on their same time zone, speaking the same language as them. West Africa, I'm selling to the UK. I have people
The English speaking one,
English
yeah.
in time zone, so it just fits what and that's what we began to build. And so that's on one side. It's just also, as I said, creating employment for these young people. Because in most African countries, the government is the biggest employer of labor. So if you can offshore our talent, just as India has been able to do, the Philippines has been able to do, then we're taking money back, getting that money back. One person is employed, takes, it is in Africa, one person is employed, the whole family is okay. At least you'll be able to look after your younger one, do different things. And yeah, so that's the story. So yes, I think IMO is in line with your meaningful work because its impact is also in as much as we are. And that's why the word knowledge, when I was thinking of a name, I wanted something that will what's this knowledge? Because this young people will learn from your base. Some of them will can even in another couple of years can go and set up, oh, after working for I have now learned something. It gives them the confidence when they work with a nice employer. I know typically people in the West are very, they're always happy to give back, to just support this, whatever they can do. And at least I've been lucky, most of the clients that I work with are very good. They're quick to support them, help them with whatever they need. They will spend time teaching them. And that's why, again, we've used the word internship, right? So we tell you that give them the first 2 weeks, do daily stand up with them so they understand. And because they can work, they're always so surprised. Some people are pleasantly surprised. Oh, they speak English very well. I'm like, yeah, you know. But it's a win-win, and it's a knowledge for, you're getting to know this young people in Africa as a business owner, as a consulting firm, working with different people, and these young people are also tapping into your knowledge, and it's going to help them in their career as they grow. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, wow, my gosh, this is really so inspiring, actually. And as you were speaking, I was just thinking, yes, this offshoring has happened a lot in Philippines, India, and all those countries. Why do you think that it's just now that we are actually thinking about that in Africa, actually? And then you are like one of the few actually who is doing it. So what's do we need to think in order to scale that in terms of Africa to become also perhaps another offshoring and then obviously becoming another very innovative
Oh,
country, but again,
yeah.
starting with offshoring.
So it's infrastructure challenges, right?
Yeah.
And in Nigeria, I know that Kenya, they're tackling those kind of things. I'll go Nigeria, we have a Minister of Digital Economy who is doing so much. He's trying to bring AI, he's trying to upskill people. The current president is obviously they have Nigeria who struggle with power. Our internet, there's Starlink, but it's expensive. Not everybody can use Starlink. And again, as I said, it will be infrastructure challenges and also trust. So what India and the Philippines has been able to build is a trust economy. Can we trust? Can I trust my data with the people? Can I trust those people? So how do you build that trust? And it's a guardrail thing where people begin to trust the people. So when a few people have used that, some of my clients are quick to recommend our services because they've worked with them for a year. They're happy, nothing has happened to them. No, they give. I remember I've got a client in the US, and he called me and he said, um, this girl is working with me. Can I give her my card details? Because she's going to be making payments. And I'm like, yes, you can, because we have vetted that we've done everything. Nothing's going to be. And she's done about 8 months. There's no complaint. So I think that trust, we need to build that trust that these other countries have built. And it's a gradual journey. It's a gradual, step, you know, the trust in the capability, the skills, capability of the people, the trust in the people themselves that they'll do what they're supposed to do, and trust across, just being able to trust and saying that when you say you're doing something, you're doing it. I can't remember where I saw that quote. I said the trust is the currency for business, and it
Mhm.
just that is so I say it's the same thing. It's just building that trust. And so when people think, oh, I can outsource to Africa, there's no, oh, they're not thinking twice about it. Once we are able to deal with all our infrastructure challenges, electricity, internet, I think the sky's the limit. We would
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big boom coming soon once all those challenges have gone. Outside of this, infrastructure challenge that is really like, the big hurdle in Africa. What are the other challenge have you perhaps faced in building this venture in general? So is there like some challenges that, you face in, navigating this ecosystem?
I'll say because I'm African, so it's only I'll say I'm Africa, and it's only up to Africans to tell their stories, and I'm telling the African story.
Mhm.
I'm always quick to say, "Oh, these people are good," and when they interview, they're always good. And the thing about the this young people is that they're the same young people that you are going to find in the US and the UK. You know why? They're all watching the same TikTok. They're all on the same Snapchat. They're all on the same.
Same
They're all
YouTube,
on the same.
exactly.
Well, I'm so small that they all have the same issues. They're all dealing with the same mental health issues. They're all dealing with the same, because they are nature that if you go on TikTok, you see some people in America jumping on live. So I can't navigate TikTok, but sometimes I go there and there are people in America on live on someone's life, you know, in Nigeria. So they see each other like these young people are almost the Gen Zs are like they're the same. They find the same when even the people you'll be surprised when you are speaking to young people in Nigeria who are unemployed, they still have the same similar what they want in life is what the Gen Z they want work-life balance. They want a place where they want you to be adding value to the society. They want to be a part of impact. They love when they want to, and some of them will gladly work for just be part of something that is growing. And it's the same thing that I find, and they're quick to tell you when this. I don't think this is for me. I've got something else in my future. I want to go and do this. I want to go and do that. So I find that this Gen Zs have a strong thing that they're doing, and strong mind of their own. They know what they want. They know what they're going for. Some of them just decide, I want to work for myself. I'm just going to do this for 12 months just to see how organization work. If you ask them, where do you see yourself in 3 years and 4 years? And also, apart from that, they also want to leave Africa, most countries. They want to come to the West. I remember a client asking me, what is the Nigerian dream? And I said, to leave Nigeria. And she said, what? I know I said it in because listen, there's a word in Nigeria. Say jackpa. Jackpa means run away, like jackpa, run away. So the guy said, pardon? I said, yeah, that's the
That's
Nigerian
the
dream.
Nigerian dream.
Nigeria.
Is to,
So
to
one
live
of the
in.
things that
Yeah.
building and we have to show them is that you can't live in Nigeria. If you do a 12-month internship, yes, to start at a cost-effective rate, but
Yeah.
eventually you can earn the same amount of money that you can earn
Yeah.
in in the US. So not obviously not the same because what we're offering them is an African discount compared to what they were paying. But if you
Mm-hmm.
get the same amount of money and you live a better life because the cost of living here is higher than what you're spending and the currency exchange and everything. So the challenges for me, I'll say most of the challenges is coming from getting the client to buy the buying of the people in the West to buy into and as I said, it's a function of trust,
Mm-hmm.
understand market history and different things.
That's really, really interesting. And I remember back in 2016, I did a tour, a tech entrepreneur tour in Africa, actually in West Africa. I didn't come to Nigeria, but I met this entrepreneur actually in Benin. And as you say, it's not just the Nigerian dream to leave Nigeria, it's the African dream to leave Africa, actually. However, this young entrepreneur that I met, again in tech, what he was able to do, he went to Ghana to get all the skills, the tech skill he needed. But back to Benin, what he did, he actually again outsourced, got a lot of talent from locally in Benin, but created this platform, this venture that's getting also client from the US and using the local talent to actually deliver that. And they are really, really successful. He has no idea, no desire at all to go somewhere else. The issue, the problem why the African dream or the Nigerian dream is to live is because they don't have the opportunities. But if they have the opportunity right there, they don't want to go and live in a small
Just,
box that
just
is called home in the West, right? So they
yeah,
will love to stay on the ground,
social
but it's
life.
just not having the opportunity that everybody wants to eat and everybody wants to have a better life. So then, therefore, their dream is to go home, to go out. But if they see that and we are able to foster that for them in Africa, they won't go anywhere. So it's also part of the whole world to in benefit as well to say,
So
okay,
yeah,
let's give Africa as well the mean to retain the
yeah,
talent.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are a
As
lot of
HR, you know about retention a lot,
yes,
right?
yes. In India, I've been to India about I've been to different parts of India. I've been to Ahmedabad, Delhi, and Mumbai. And when I used to go speak to the people, they have jobs. They're happy to be in India. They don't want to
Go
leave. There's
anywhere.
opportunity if they wanted to go and do their masters, they will leave.
Yeah.
They will it's like it's not a die hard. They're not running away from their country and things like that. So if, as you said, if the West can start to push business to Africa, and then these people, as I said, I lived in Nigeria. I didn't want to. If I didn't meet my other half who lived here, I would still be gladly living in Nigeria and doing. But obviously, God directs a step, and maybe this is where He wanted me to be here. So
That is, everything has a purpose in life because you have to come here to see the
they,
opportunity and how you can make the link so that, you can bring something back as well to make that link. So it
So
works out
yes,
well.
we start to push those jobs, then we can get these young people equipped to stay and see. Because in Nigeria, there's a party every Saturday in different places. Everyone's happy, just dancing. Back home, people are happy. You know, they don't want to. I love to be back in Nigeria, even if I don't go out. Just the fact that I'm there it makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. Perhaps somebody who is listening to us may have some idea or some clue to making your dream or your venture come through at a bigger scale. What would you say you will need to make this something quite big in Nigeria and in Africa?
So we've built a scalable product. We're actually fundraising. We are SC. We have SCISC. So if you're a UK taxpayer, you get discount. We at the moment building AI into our product so that it can become so it makes searching easy. So what our platform helps you is an end-to-end platform. So you go onto our platform, you are able to search for search for what's called a talent, search for a particular criteria, put your search parameters, brings you the appropriate person, couple of people, you sign up on the platform, you can interview right there on the platform, and they've got a workspace that you can even manage them on that platform. So it allows you to assign tasks, time track, do everything you need to do. Again, you don't have to use that platform because most people already have their own product that they use for different things. But we just have it there, and it's subscription monthly, so everything is done via Stripe. Everything is done really much on the platform. So for us, we are fundraising to be able to scale the platform, get to more people. Again, um, move out, get to when the UK get more of the UK market and also some within the US market as well. So we need to sales, marketing, drive our sales, improve our technology and different things. So we need more clients. And if we have
Mm.
anybody who's we're fundraising, yes.
That's interesting because I just interviewed just before you a VC actually, a
Really?
younger VC
So
who is
we're
based
not
in Morocco and investing in startup African startups. So perhaps
you might
I may I may
that's a good one.
actually, maybe even if perhaps she herself or her venture, her younger venture is not able to, perhaps she'll be able to point you to some direction. So
So,
offline, I'm going
so
to
now
put you
because
in
I
touch
don't
with
think
her.
that we are VC ready. We're doing an angel round.
Angel
So
round, okay.
yeah, we're not
She might know some angels, she's
absolutely.
a VC, but she definitely have angels and other people in her network. So it would be good to put you in touch with her.
Thank you so much for saying.
Wow, wow, wow. Tell me, what is one of the successes that you've seen happening in what you've been doing, like some interns making it or perhaps having their life changed through this venture? Can you share some
Oh,
some success stories?
I think that some of almost all there is, and that's why I'm very grateful to some of the businesses I've worked with. They are very um they are they took it like a purpose, right? They wanted to be a part of the growth of this young people, and they took their time to help them, navigate working with them. I have one intern who independently runs the community for employer. I've got people who are, there's one that does all the content. Our employers are she's a mini influencer, runs traveling influencing things. So she runs everything, all the our employer just says do this, do that, and she runs it. There's no like, oh go, oh I need to fact check, and it's also opened their own horizon when you speak to them, the things that they want to do. In April, because I run this conference, so I got some of them to come and meet me in person, the ones who were in Lagos, and just talking about the job that they do. They're happy, they're thriving, and I don't think that they will have gotten the opportunities that, in terms of working, just seeing things that they've been able to be, they're privileged to be given opportunities to do things that they wouldn't have done it. I'm not saying that the work that we do, again, I do not believe to the work that we do in Nigeria or the things, but it's just that opening their eyes to different things. The way we do community management is completely different. Even I want to go and open that some because I've been part of different communities and think I need to create a community like that for entrepreneurs in Nigeria where you're just, so just opening your eyes to say, and then so I know one week now does training in our church, not church community, just upskilling young people within the church as well, trying to give them the same sort of trainings, young people, and saying that. And they always quick to when we open around for our boot camp, they always push their friends. They always recommend people to join the boot camp. So
Mm.
it's life changing. It's one of our interns just finished her internship and she's got a great job. And it's just from the experience that she's both the interview, she's got a great job with another business.
Wow, that is beautiful because one of the problem, as you say, is just giving the chance, giving the opportunities for some people to apply something that they've learned at university. They come out with their own experience, or they may have some other kind of experience. So your opportunity is helping them to apply what they do. Then they can see the possibility to move forward to another, perhaps more skilled job that they can really thrive in. That is really, really beautiful, actually, what you're doing. So, I've also noticed recently, they work from home, and especially when it comes to the UK and US, during COVID, a lot of people were happy to push quite a lot of things outside, etc. Have you seen this kind of back to the office mandate now? Has anything impacted your business, or it is completely irrelevant to what you're doing?
Okay, so every most organizations are driving the back to work thing, but don't forget that our stuff, what we offer is offshoring anyway. They can be in person, so we have to look for businesses who have either done that in the past or have services that they can offshore that does not need people to be in the office,
Mm.
or even if there's a small business with 10 employees, but there's something they want to do, maybe their digital marketing, and they don't really need a person, so it's cost saving rather than just get somebody sitting in the office and
Yeah.
costing more than you really need to pay. You can offshore that. Project management, PMO, you can offshore that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a consulting firm and you have different projects that you work on, you can offshore, things that can be done
Mm-hmm.
with done remotely. But I know a lot of people are going, but the future of work is hybrid. It's not
Yeah.
full time anymore. It's hybrid. So whether everyone believe they will try, they will struggle, people, obviously, they're different people. If you're an investment banker, I know all the investment bankers are back to in the city. They're back to their full time 9 to 5. But then they have their flexibility because the future of work is hybrid. I'm in HR. I'm a fellow of the CIPD, so I
Yeah.
join my local meetings and things like that. And we know it that those days of 5 days every day in the
Yeah.
office, the world's
Although some of them are really pushing hard to go
they
back
will
to the
push.
old days.
They, they will push, and the push, yes, I would say maybe 60% will go back to full time, but it's almost like you've tested that flexibility and the productivity is higher when for some people are more productive from home. Just is again, as I said earlier, trust is the currency for business. So they work twice as hard when they're working from home. But it's work-life balance.
Mhm.
For dads take time off work. They're able to the things that they never did with their kids, they can do it, go for during their lunch break, pop to the park with their
Yeah.
kids, do things like that. It's and the future, the kids who are coming in the future, as I said, the Gen Zs, they don't want to be clocked up in the office. And so the employers have to start to, you know, understand that now, when it was the Generation X and the millennials were able to beat the millennials down and shaping them. They thought they were going to change the future of work, but I definitely think the Gen Zs and Generation Alpha will change the future of work because
Totally.
they they're driven, they're impact driven, they're purpose driven. They know what they
Yeah.
want, and
Yeah.
they're not going to be forced. They're not be coerced into coming spending 5 days in the office when they don't need to, when they can be at home. We
Mm.
have digital nomads who are working on the beach every day and delivering stuff. The people who build websites just stay in front of the beach and they're chucking out like 10 websites a day just in front of the
That's true, including AI. I was going to
yes.
ask you, using AI to augment everything that they're doing. As an HR professional who have a crystal ball, how can you, what do you see will be like that future of work, which is going to be quite different, plus AI, how AI is going to augment. What's
Yeah.
your perspective on
Are
that?
you asking if AI is coming to take all our jobs?
It's not, I don't believe the AI is going to steal the job. It's going to enhance us. It's a little bit like if you are thinking like before computer came, when computer came, people might have said, oh, the computer is going to steal our job, but actually it augments everything we did, right? So I do not believe personally
But
that AI is going
AI,
to steal the
AI
jobs.
is become job obsolete. Some jobs will definitely become obsolete. So what do we do as humans? We have to upskill ourselves.
Mhm.
And that's why we all have to be lifelong learners. You know, some people, once they drop their books from the university, think that's it, I'm
They think
done.
that that's it. I've done
I'm
with
not
studies.
done. So we have to imbibe lifelong learning. And you know, that's what AI is, because you're in competition with machine learning, AI. This is so quick. You remember, so when you put a prompt in ChatGPT or any, whether it's Anthropic, whether it's Germany, you see how quick is able to, can we think quick as that? So we have to upskill ourselves so that we are not we become invaluable to the organization using this technology to make ourselves. So when you enhance your skills and you then have AI, to a friend of mine, a self-taught developer, and he's just AI has become his friend, and he just looks, he's very smart. It just takes any skills anyway, it starts to, ask AI to support him. And he's learning, and just doing different things. And this is what people need to be doing. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. So even like, it's not like AI has left your job. You're just left behind because you still want to do the same thing. The things even before AI, there were things that were automating, like Zap. You can use Zapier to automate different things. So those things are already telling you that there's some things where you don't need somebody to be pushing, oh, help me drop this file there in 5 seconds. Zapier send all your details from Stripe to this. So automated. Then AI has now come. How do you upskill yourself? How do you keep yourself relevant within your industry? AI is in even in HR, there's certain things that AI is doing. You're writing KPIs, give it some prompts. It helps you with unlike before where you have to, really dig in, deep dive, know your competency and stuff like that. But you have to know it for AI to be able to help you.
That's it,
That's why
exactly. Yeah.
that's why they say, yeah, the prompts. How do you get the right prompts? It's prompt engineering, different things.
Totally.
So yeah, so it's upskilling yourself and um using technology. Technology is, for me, I always say technology is an enabler, and
Enabler. Yeah, yeah, using that to enhance it, augment everything that you do. So tell me, Erefa, so let's say that one young person or not even young person wants to decide whether they want to stay employee or create a business. How can you advise, anybody, who has, who want to get some meaning in their life and in their work, either if they need to stay employee or consider the traditional employment routes or becoming an entrepreneur? What can be a factor to determine which route should you take?
I'll say that there's no factor. For coincidentally, I was speaking to a client. My client's just left his job in December and is gone full on his startup. He's a management consultant, and we were talking, and I was saying to him, oh, that I was cracking a joke with him. I said that the first time I listened to Elon Musk, he wasn't the one that wrote it. I think it's an autobiography that was written on him, and I told that was um during the pandemic, and I said to my husband, I'm not sleeping again. He said, well, I said, Elon Musk doesn't sleep. And for me to be a billionaire, I don't have to sleep. So he was looking like, are you serious? And then I was listening to him on a podcast, and I was just in awe of him. He's a very brilliant person. Obviously, we might not agree on certain things, but I think that he's driven, he knows what he wants. And I was saying that to my client, and my client was saying that what education gives you is that it gives you the ability to be able to do anything. And we spoke about when Elon Musk at the time, was thinking of PayPal, I think was thinking of digital banking. Those were the days of core banking. He was already thinking of using technology to create something. Now everybody can do fintech, but we're talking years ago. It's just finished uni, and he was already thinking this is what he could do, building something that's in that kind of large scale. And it all comes from, you asked me a question, what are the things that shaped me? It all comes from what shapes us, what do we see around us. So as a young person, whatever if you want to do business, what shapes you? Who are the people? Is it because you're surrounded by business owners? Is it because the people that you follow or mentors you are business owners? Or if you some people they can't for the life of them, they can never work for themselves because the people that have surrounded what when they think of success, they think I want to be the VP of Barclays. Because the people surrounding them, what they whatever we program in terms of success in our head, it's not because that's what we have just been programmed to believe that that's our success based on what we see, whatever we
Environment,
see
yeah.
around
Mhm.
things, like our environment, the people that we surround. My uncle is a bank MD. My cousin just is working in X in financial services, and it just shapes, and you are so excited you want to be able to do that. But I'll say that it's the audacity that education gives you. You can do anything. It's and being young as well, because I started my business. I think if I hadn't started my business when I was young and I was working, I'll have that fear. So when you're young, that's the best thing to play. It's the best time to be an entrepreneur because you can always go back. If it doesn't work, you can go back into employment. Because as you get older, the fear comes in. If you have children, if you have a family, can I just drop everything and say I want to do this? Am I going to lose my mortgage? Am I going to do this? Am I going to, but when you're young, it's the audacity of youth. You can do anything. So just look at what do you really want to do. See who's doing the same thing. Sometimes there's no need to reinvent the wheel. See what they're doing and see how you can make it better. So
Yeah.
the
What
best time
about the one who are not that young, but who have gone through the Great Resignation, actually, and
yes,
then finally are looking, am I caught up to still be at the, in this work, or shall I just go and start my own thing?
well, for those people, the best time to start was yesterday, so they can start today. The best time to start anything was yesterday, so that means you can start. So again, it's overcoming the fears or
Yeah,
the things that we put
always.
ourselves as, and it's us. We put ourselves into that box. So how do you get yourself out of the box? How do you overcome those fears? How are the things that um would you have to determine, as I said, the best time to start was yesterday. So you can start today. Just overcome the fear, overcome the can I do it? That's why I said when you're young, you don't even think twice, you're gonna do it. But as you get older, oh should I? Oh my God, I'm not gonna have pay, I won't get paid for X month. Can I do it? Can I? But the thing about it is because if you're an expert at what you do and you want to put that expertise into running a business, if it fails, yes, you go back to work. But at
Hmm.
least that's what my
At
client
least
said
you
to me.
tried, yeah.
Said, I don't want to get to 80 and think, why didn't I try it? At least if you tried it and it didn't work, you cannot
Exactly.
to work. So you don't
Yeah.
leave it for regret.
Yeah, if you try, if it doesn't work, you can still go and find something. Yeah.
So think
Wonderful.
not trying at all.
Exactly. Thank you. So now let's talk about the 3M. In this podcast, we also always talk about meaning, and meaning is meaningful work and meaningful life. So there is 3M, meaning, money, and movement. If we start with meaning, what gives you meaning in life? Where do you get your meaning from?
I think up until I always, for me, I thought it was helping, is I'm a people person, it's helping people within the organization and everything. But now that I do this, I feel that this is what I've meant to do, is creating employment. Just giving the idea of when you give somebody a path to their future and just helping. It's still about helping.
Mhm.
So it's creating impact. I want to be able to create impact, whether in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Uganda, in Rwanda, in Togo, in Benin. For me, it's creating impact and just having a large network of people that we have employed. So for me, it's always been anyway. As I said, quite many years ago, I was already running a graduate finishing school because I saw the gap in the young people coming out. So for me, it's always helping young people, and yes, that's for me.
Yeah.
That's
That is wonderful, helping really young people getting employment. And there are a lot of them who need one. Definitely, definitely. Which actually brings me perhaps to the second question. If you have £1 billion today, how would you spend it? And how would you spend your days as well?
ah. I stop working if I had a £1 billion. I don't think I'll stop working. I like to work, but I also like to enjoy my life. So maybe I'll be working out of a yacht somewhere in the south of France, doing my thing, living
Drinking pink champagne.
living living the best life, you know. Um, but I would, I think I will impact a lot of things. I'm a giver, and I will give as much as I can to people within my ecosystem, my community, charities, you know, businesses as well. The kingdom, I will put money in the kingdom to, you know, as I said, I do not convert souls, but I will be able to put money so that we can do kingdom work for God, you know. So missionaries, give them stuff, you know, to go and on their mission journeys and things like that. But I would definitely be going to Arrods a few times and Selfridges. Yeah.
Have your private days. They're going to close down
Yes.
for you to come
Yes.
to shop.
Yes. That's definitely. I'm Nigerian. What do you think? Of course, I'm going to enjoy my life with that money. Yeah. It's not
It
the,
seems that Nigerian people are the first highest customers in Selfridges and Harrods. I don't know if you know that.
I know they in Arrows they recruited people who
You have
speak
a special
yes,
counter there.
yes, where they speak Nigerian languages. So that's what I'm saying. I'm Nigerian. What do you think? I'm definitely going to be shopping, enjoying my life with £1 billion. Yes.
Oh, that is beautiful. Thank you so much. So now, how do you want to be remembered for?
I want to remember as somebody that added value to people's lives, whether as to my friend, as a mother, as a child, as a sister, as a friend. My friends, I'm always quick to, if they need something, I'm quick to help. I'm quick to, my husband said, oh, you like to help people too much. You're like, I want to add value. There's even my clients, I'm always looking for stuff for them, whether push, oh, I saw something, I think this might be good for you, send them a link. I want to be able to not just take in from you, I want to add value.
Mm.
I want to be known as that person who added value. It's not even just because of what I do, even within my own ecosystem, my friendship group, my family, anybody around me. I don't want you to come to me and you're still the same. So I'm always trying to push because I'm like, if I see something, I want to do it. So I want people around me to be able to say, you know, I'm the do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it sort of person.
Let's
Yeah.
do it and adding value. That's beautiful. So now, knowing what you know now, and what will be your parting advice for those looking to do meaningful work and live a meaningful life?
I'll say be curious. Curiosity, you know, curiosity and listening. As you know, we hear, but we tend not to listen. And I taught myself to listen because we're here to respond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Listen, listen more, and you understand what people need. You understand what someone wants because you're not listening to respond. You're listening to understand, and then be curious about life. And when you're curious in your curiosity, you find out you're able to create meaningful work and create impact as well.
What a beautiful advice. Listen to understand, not to respond. I love that. So how can people reach you and learn more about you, Erefa, and your work?
Right. On LinkedIn, my LinkedIn is just put Erefa Coker, Erefa Fan Country. Find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, Erefa Coker. And yes, my email address is erefacoker@imointerns.app.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your generosity, Erefa, and for this insightful conversation. And keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Francine. I've had so much fun chatting with you, and thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you.
Did you like this conversation? What was your key takeaway about this episode? So let me know in the comment below and make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube so you don't miss any episodes. And to hear more incredible stories and get the show notes and other free resources, visit francinebeleyi.com/podcast. That's FranceneBeleyi.com/podcast. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Meaningful Work, Meaningful Life podcast. Until then, dream, act, and make an impact. Lots of love.